The real villain of the upcoming Avengers 5 is not Doctor Doom, it is Doctor Strange himself. The same guy with the flying cape, the sarcasm and the eternal "I've planned everything" look. He did calculate everything, only his calculation looks a lot like mass destruction of universes. According to insiders, Steven will not just be Doom's ally but his direct instigator. He helps Victor speed up the collapse of the multiverse, because it is supposedly as unstable as Windows XP without updates, crashing, freezing and randomly wiping itself. All because of incursions, collisions of multiverses, where two realities smash into each other and both end up in oblivion. And that is where things get bloody. Strange and Doom both want control. They're not evil for evil's sake, they're just tired of chaos. Their goal is to replace a billion messy worlds with one massive Battleworld. Better one Battleworld under their supervision than an endless multiversal mess. Some fan theories even claim Victor was created by Strange himself, that he has raised his own villain to do the dirty work, destroy the multiverse and build a new stable version of reality. Sounds wild, but actually very logical. Every event in Avengers, Doomsday and Secret Wars happens because of Doctor Strange. He is the one who pushed the first domino. At the very start of his magical career, Steven learned about the multiverse. He knew it was not a gift but a ticking bomb. And if you think about it, his one winning scenario against Thanos in Infinity War looks insanely suspicious. 14 million outcomes and only one works? Yeah, right. It feels less like he saved the world and more like he picked the future that best fits his own long-term plan. Look closer. Since Strange showed up in the MCU, superheroes started dying in bulk. Tony, Vision, Wanda, Hulk, Thor, one way or another, he either took them off the board or accidentally helped eliminate them. And the creepiest part is that after Strange mastered the mystic arts, the multiverse itself began to break apart, as if every one of his spells was another bug in the code of reality. So maybe the scariest enemy of the Avengers is not Doom, Thanos or Kang, but their own sorcerer who decided to play God and rewrite the rules of existence. America Chavez straight up said that every version of Strange she met was evil, every single one. The Ancient One didn't choose Steven just to handle some purple guy with jewelry. Thanos was basically a trial boss, a warm-up. She knew that in 2016 Strange would become Sorcerer Supreme and started setting the stage for a much bigger game, not for Thanos, but for something far worse, Doctor Doom. If the ancient sorcerers really wanted, they could have taken Thanos out in the very beginning. Strange could have opened a portal under him and dropped him into the sun or something, or jumped him in some of the other hell dimension. But no, the sorcerers let Thanos gather the stones. In Infinity War, Strange looked at 14 million timelines and picked one. The one where everything goes according to his script. Stark dies, the teams fell apart, and Strange is left as the only guarantee of multiversal stability. Not the guy who beats Thanos, but the architect of a new order. So Strange's true destiny is not Thanos, it is Doom. Thanos was just a distraction, just noise to mislead the audience. Steven walked up in circles around the Titan while quietly removing anyone who could interfere with his plan. Stark dies a hero, Vision is destroyed, Hulk is broken physically and mentally, Thor loses his form and motivation, Wanda goes insane and exits the game. All of it fits Strange's scenario. Now remember, Strange sees 14 million endings and only one works. Seriously, even a blindfolded kid at a carnival game has better odds. But dig deeper and it looks like he simply chose the one future that benefits him the most. Because after Multiverse of Madness, it is clear he could have taken down Thanos himself if he wanted. Think of Endgame's final battle. He opens portals behind Cap, but he could just open one under Thanos and dropped him into the star. He didn't, because Tony had to die. Without Tony's death, there is no emotional trigger, no final that resets the board. Everything is going according to the plan. Here is the really terrifying part. Strange is not a villain in a classical sense. He is an editor of the universe, a keeper of the script, making sure the story doesn't fall apart. In his head, heroes are not allies, but potential system errors. When someone goes off the script, he cleans the code. That is how Stark, Wanda, Vision and Thor disappear. The Avengers are too unpredictable and dangerous for reality. They had to go. By Infinity War, the heroes had already done more damage to Earth than half of the villains combined. Stark's paranoia birthed Ultron, and then gave us Vision, a walking Wi-Fi with an Infinity Stone in his head. Wanda's grief almost broke reality. Hulk turned into a midlife crisis scientist. Thor became a depressed gamer, kept aged like an iPhone without updates. And who watched all of this unfold without lifting a finger? Our favorite wizard with an ego the size of a dark dimension. Remember how in Ragnarok he literally kicked Thor and Loki off Earth like they were annoying neighbors? Or how he greeted Tony and Bruce in Infinity War with zero warmth? When Thanos almost killed Thor, Strange didn't even flinch. When the Black Order attacked, he teleported Bruce, so he crashed from the sky onto a car instead of just putting him safely on the ground. Why? Because Strange didn't care about them. He cared only about the plan. On Titan, he has the Time Stone. Thanos is exhausted. The Avengers almost pulled off the gauntlet. And what does Steven do? Nothing. He just stands there like a receptionist waiting for closing time. Why? Because it is a part of the script where Stark must die, so he can become Doctor Doom. He gives Thanos the stone after saying he never would give the stone. Why? Because Strange doesn't need a clean victory over Thanos. He needs victory over time itself. In Endgame, the Ancient One told Bruce that if the stones leave their path, time goes out of control. Strange knew this perfectly well. By handling the stones over, he knowingly destabilized the entire timeline. That was the true beginning of multiversal madness. He blew up reality, letting the Avengers create dozens and hundreds of new branches, and with them Incursions. No wonder the universe is falling apart now. Wanda dead, Peter broken, Tony gone, all according to the script. Notice how in Endgame he could have teleported the gauntlet in the black hole straight into the sun, but he didn't, because Stark had to snap his fingers. 1 in 14 million was not a chance at victory, it was a blueprint for Strange's personal reboot. And here's the paradox, Thanos at least believed he was saving the universe. Strange is the one who actually destroyed it and called it necessary. Wanda was the first to feel it. Remember what she told him, you break the rules and become a hero. I do it and I become the enemy. She was not wrong. Now his path crosses with Doom's, because it is only after Stark's death that Doom rises. In the comics, Doom doesn't kill Strange, he makes him work for him. That is the road to Secret Wars. When Battleworld is created, everyone's memory is wiped, everyone's except for one person, Doctor Strange. Because he is the one who orchestrated this entire mess. He saw 14 million futures and chose the one where reality collapses. Doom becomes God and Strange becomes his herald. It has always been like this. Every time Strange used the Time Stone, reality cracked a little more. In his first movie, where the city falls and shatters, there is not just the mirror dimension. There is the first rip of time. After that came WandaVision, the multiverse tearing open, worlds colliding, everything is moving according to his plan. And the most ironic thing, even when he could fix it, he did the opposite. In WandaVision, he never shows up, even though he should have. When Wanda asks if he came because of the ruins, he said no, I just wanted to talk about the multiverse. At the end of the multiverse of madness, he's literally smiling as if everything is fine, surrounded by corpses, broken realities and dead friends. So, do you agree that Strange is a villain? Write in the comments down below what you think. Thanks for watching, see you next time guys.